beautiful soul, welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being someone who wants to raise his or her awareness. And thank you for sharing or liking. If you enjoyed this experience, my intention is solely, my purpose here is to help you recognize your own greatness. If you could be so kind and click the like button, comment if you like, subscribe, share it with a friend or two. It will help me immensely spread this information, and I believe that this is important information. So if you believe that this important information is somehow helping you, I would love for you to help me to spread this information. So thank you so much for being here. For those of you who are returning, again, without you, I wouldn't do this. There would be no reason for me to do what I do, and I find incredible pleasure in what it is that I do. What is it that I do? Apparently, I channel information. We all channel information all the time. We just don't necessarily think about it or believe it, for that matter, or believe what we are channeling or who we are channeling. But we are channeling energies all the time. I happen to channel what I would consider higher frequency, and what that basically means to me. Higher frequency is is equivalent to me with higher awareness, and I'm here to apparently spread higher awareness. What's the purpose of spreading higher awareness? To help you realize your greatness. That's what my purpose is. That's what my job is. That's what my passion is. And that's why I love what I do. I want to first talk about the energies that I am experiencing. And it's not just my experience. It seems to be experience of a lot of people that I'm talking to. And the experience is one of feeling very strong energies and emotions. It's as if we are in turbulent waters right now. The energy feels quite thick. It feels quite demanding. It demands a lot from us. What is this energy demanding? And I don't like using that word, but just to give it substance. What the energy is asking of us is to simply let go of fear-based assumptions. And that is not an easy task in my experience, and I suspect it's not an easy task of your experience. And that's because we cling on to fear for a reason. We have a reason why we cling on to fear. And that reason is based in our own understanding of who we are, in our own understanding of ourselves. And the irony is that we are all in massive misunderstanding of who we are. There's nothing greater in the world for me, Joanna, to watch and experience someone realizing that they exist beyond their fears. When I see that happen, when I am blessed with presence of someone who realize that they are beyond their fear, that they exist beyond their own fear, something immense happens. And what happens essentially is that the person is realizing that they are more than what they think they should be, they could be, or they're supposed to be. In other words, when a person realizes on a very fundamental level that they are more than their fear, they begin to live life with less fear. Would you like to live your life with less fear? I suspect the answer is a resounding yes, exclamation marks. Why? Well, for one, fear is what clings us to the old. Fear is what keeps us stuck often. Sometimes fear is useful, as in if you're being chased by a dog, run. That's not what I'm talking about. Fear basically says you cannot be more, you cannot have more, you cannot experience more, you cannot have life outside of what you fear. Fear is also what keeps us small. Are we small? That's an irony, really, because to even say, are we small, is to define us. And you and I are undefinable, not by human standards. In other words, to even have the notion that we are small is to limit our very experience, because as a soul, as a vibration, as part of source, there is nothing small about you. In fact, you are immense. I suspect you don't see yourself as immense. I suspect you see yourself as small. And that's the product or byproduct of our old conditioning. And right now, this powerful energy is, I want to say, encouraging us, but it's more forceful than that. This powerful energy that we are experiencing is helping us to show us who we are not. We are not our fears. We are not our belief systems. We are not our bodies. We are not what we wear. We are certainly not our emotions. And when we realize that, we begin to live more of our potential. We begin to experience more of what is possible versus what cannot be according to our limited beliefs. So one of the things that's happening with me personally is I am used to showing up on YouTube doing certain things. I use cards, I do certain things. And for a while now, I have had this strong feel to let go of how I used to do things. And I've done that before, but this is different. This energy is urging me, and it's more than urging. It's delightfully asking me to let go of how I think things should be and how it is that I think I'm supposed to show up in order for a message to be delivered, and just allow myself to be a channel and allow this higher voice to pour through me. And I am having a very difficult time with that. It's because I am being asked to let go of what I know. And there is a lot of fear attached to it. What if I let go of doing things this way? Things are not going to work out. Yet, there is a bigger part of me that absolutely knows that in order for me to expand and show up in a way that's going to be more helpful, I have to let go of what I have been attached to thus far. And that's when the ego begins to fight, because ego does not like to let go of what it knows, simply because it knows it and it knows what to expect. So I am being asked to let go of what I expect in favor of what is the unexpected. And that is an interesting place to be, because I feel like I'm being split in half. Now, I don't want to be split in half, because if I'm split in half, I don't feel whole. Nobody wants to feel split in half. Nonetheless, this is how I feel. One half of me says, stay, do this. That's how you will have people clicking on what you have to say, versus let go and let spirit guide you. I know what I should do. I know what would be better for me. Yet, this other part of me that is very much afraid of letting go wants me to continue doing what I've been doing. I'm sharing this with you because I suspect many of you feel the same way. And if you are here on this earth, I've said this before, consider yourself to be a very brave soul. Apparently, it takes a lot of energy and focus to be in this physical body. And let's face it, physicality is often, not always, but is often painful. Our physical bodies experience pain. Our emotional bodies experience pain. We experience pain on many levels. So being in a physical, sometimes may not feel as fun. So, as a soul, you knew coming into this physical body that things were going to get a little bit shaky. Okay? However, you may not remember what that quote-unquote shaky is. What I mean by shaky, I mean change. You knew coming into this physical body, and I knew apparently, that we are going to be going on a wild ride. And each soul here, yourself included, has a purpose, a very definite purpose for being here. In other words, you're not here as a soul because you've got nothing better to do. You've had many other options available to you, but you and I apparently chose to be here. Why did we choose to be here? So that we can be part of humanity as it goes through the process of reinventing itself. We could say that humanity is in a process of emerging from its slumber, waking up. So, for you to be here in this human body means you have a lot of courage, otherwise you wouldn't be choosing to be a human being. And what this energy, this strong energy is asking us to do, this energy is asking us to tap into our courage. We all have it. Okay? When there is courage present, there is often some level of testing. I could say that we are in a process of testing our strength and realizing that as humanity as a whole, not only can survive anything, but can make things better. I'm just channeling, so I'm trying not to get my 3D brain involved, which is trying to do that very hard right now. So I'm going to leave my brain outside of myself for the moment. So the experience I am having right now of needing to release what I've known and how I have shown up until this point thus far is probably mimicking your own experience. You are being asked to let go of your old self, to let go of your old limiting beliefs, to let go of what you believe is true that keeps you stuck where you are. I'm not necessarily saying that you are stuck, but humanity has been stuck in a dark box for a very, very long time. Now, there is life outside of this box. But in order for us to experience life outside of this box, we have to get out of the box, which means getting out of our own confinement. So you could say that your purpose here is to get out of your own confinement. So perhaps you can share with others how they can get out of their own confinement. What happens when we get out of our confinement? Well, it's like getting out of prison. We begin to realize that we are free. Most humans are free in this world, not all, most. Yet if you were to ask most people, are you free to do anything you want? Likely the answer would be probably majority would say no. I'm not talking about like robbing bank or anything like that. I'm not talking about that stuff. But if I was to ask you, do you feel free to do anything you want? Would you say yes or no? And what would you base this answer on? Likely your preconceived ideas. So, if your answer is no to the question, do you feel that you are free to do whatever you want? You have to ask yourself this question. What is it that I believe about myself that tells me I cannot be free to do whatever I want? Likely you'll come up with a very strong answer that says it's your belief system. Okay? You've designed your own belief system in order to understand yourself from a different angle. And you've been seeing yourself from this angle up until this point, thus far. As a soul, you are choosing to relieve yourself from your current set of circumstances in order to set yourself free. Now, if you are being asked to set yourself free, that means you must be in some sort of a confinement. What confinement are you in that tells you that you cannot be free or true to yourself? What confinement are you in that makes you believe that you cannot choose to be free or do whatever you want? I know the brain is going to try to find a whole bunch of answers and reasons why things are the way they are. This is a bigger message. This is a much bigger message. So this energy is likely asking you, maybe even forcing you to look at yourself, to face yourself, to see yourself the way you see you, and the way you would like to be seen instead. If you see yourself one way and you don't like what you see, how would you like to see you? And then make that change. I can feel my logical brain is running hoops right now, trying to get this message, digest this message. So chances are you're likely feeling uncomfortable these days. And that's because discomfort is testing your strength. It's testing your courage. And remember what I said at the very beginning, you are a courageous soul. Without you having courage, you wouldn't be here. You may not believe you have courage. You may not know you have courage. But oh yes, courage you have. For you to be here takes a lot of courage. So this energy is asking us to have the courage to look at ourselves and to perhaps decide to see ourselves from a different angle, to choose to see ourselves differently. How we see ourselves is how we see the world. When we choose to see ourselves differently, we will see the world very differently. In other words, if we want to see the world change, first we must change within our own inner worlds. You are your own inner world walking around. Your entire experience of your life happens inside of you, not inside of you. It's inside of you. The moment you shift your inner world is the moment that that shift will be reflected on your quote-unquote outer world. What you experience in the world happens inside of you, not outside of you. It's a very hard concept to grasp, even for myself as Joanna. So we are here needing to face ourselves. Perhaps we are needing to face things we didn't want to see, things we didn't want to look at, things we find very uncomfortable. There is usually very little comfort in massive change. And that's because massive change denotes a certain level of discomfort. So if you are feeling very uncomfortable right now, know that this is because you are moving through a process of massive change. This massive change is your inner world. Something inside of you is shifting and turning. You are like the butterfly coming out of a cocoon, except you're not at that stage yet. You are in the chrysalis. And you know how the larvae, when it's in a chrysalis, it has to liquefy in order to reform itself from inside out in order to become the butterfly? I suspect that for the larvae, that is a bloody uncomfortable process. It's basically being destroyed from inside out. I don't know how I would feel if I was a larvae going through that process, yet I think I have an idea because I'm going through that process right now, and so are you. And this process is being magnified right now. It's not a small ask the universe is asking of us. The universe is basically saying, hey, remember what you're here for. You're here to remember who you are. When you remember who you are, your entire world changes. Not only your entire world changes, how you perceive your world changes as a result. And that's a massive shift of consciousness. You are in a process of reorienting yourself to what is really true versus what you have been telling yourself the truth is. And everyone has their own truth. The truth is this: we are all one and the same, yet we are different. We are unique. We are all under the illusion of separateness, yet we all are part of one. Ego thrives on the idea of separateness. The moment there is identification with oneness, it's almost like ego has no place in that. But we're not saying ego is bad. Ego is what gives you your particular unique flavor. But when ego lives at war with itself, primarily because of fear, ego is what keeps us stuck in our confinements. So in order to get unstuck from our confinement, we have to begin to realize that which we are and that which we are not. And we are certainly not our egos, though most people identify with their egos. It's just a part of life. So if you're going through these energies, if you're feeling these energies quite potent, I feel for you. I'm going to say something that's going to sound really funny, but I actually mean it. Go hug a tree. Literally go hug a tree. Let nature absorb some of that energy and let nature help you ground this energy, because it's frequency. What we are experiencing is a lot of potent frequencies. So make sure you ground a lot. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Try your best not to figure out logically what's going on. Likely that's not going to help you. It's only going to put your head in more of a spin. Okay? Self-realization cannot be explained by the small human mind, by the ego. For one, in order to truly realize ourselves, we have to let go of the ego. But it's not completely getting rid of the ego. No, remember, ego is there because it gives you your own unique flavor. It's about letting go of the hold the ego has on us. And ego is rooted in fear, lack, and separation. The more we begin to realize the truth of what is, and everyone has their own unique journey of what that means to them, but everyone eventually gets there. So I'm not saying believe what I'm saying. In fact, don't believe a word I'm saying. Notice if this rings true for you. So as you go through these energies and you're being asked to be brave, and you are brave, remember, and you're being asked to perhaps let go of some things in your life. Perhaps your belief systems, your old, outdated belief systems that have no place in where we're going. Perhaps it's letting go of your own perceived limitations. Perhaps it's letting go of an old job. Perhaps it's letting go of a place you used to live in. Whatever the let go is for you, it's likely going to happen. It's likely happening right now. And with the process of letting go, we often experience a lot of resistance. So be patient with yourself if you are in fact experiencing a lot of resistance. They're saying it's part of the fun. Well, I wouldn't call it fun, but okay, if my team feels that it's part of the fun, well, that's their perspective. They certainly have their own perspective. So be patient with yourself. Know that this is a process that you are going through. And it's a process that each and every one eventually has to go through. There is no way around it. This is just where we are heading. So the more you allow yourself to release and let go of what no longer serves you, the easier you will find managing these energies. And this is not a small ask, and it's not a small task by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't want you to think that I'm just saying, oh, let it go. Yeah, no. Letting go is hard. Probably one of the hardest things we'll ever do. Because we are letting go of our identity. We're letting go of our confinement. We're letting go of our own internal prisons. And the reason why prisoners come back to prisons after being freed is because they believe that's their home. They prefer life in prison. Otherwise, why would they choose prison? Right? Now, of course, there's people who are in prison and they're wrongly accused. I'm not talking about that. It's a much bigger message. It's a much bigger message than that. No, though I'm not minimizing these individuals by any stretch of the imagination. So as I'm being asked to let go of how I used to do things, I kind of have no choice but to listen. Well, do I have a choice? Yes. I can resist it, which I have been resisting for a long time. But eventually it's like, okay, Joanna, you gotta let it go. Let's just let it go and see what happens. So I'm letting go of the cards today. I'm sitting here in front of you saying, it terrifies me, even though you might think, oh, Joanna, that's such a, what are you talking about? Just let it go. Yeah. If you've been trying to let go of something that you've depended on and rely on, you know what it feels like. It's kind of sort of hard. So I would encourage you to do the same, to let go of something that you are being nudged to let go of, and just let it go. I channeled 13 points of steps that we can take in order to help to let us go. So I'm going to read them to you. I haven't read them yet. Actually, I did once. And let's see what you think. And these are steps, pointers from higher perspective to help us all release what no longer serves us. Number 1, don't let your own fear guide you. Fear is not your guide. Fear keeps you in your own mental prison. The question you want to ask yourself is this: do I like being in my own prison, or would I rather feel free? You come up with the answer. And whatever you choose, that choice is yours. Do it consciously. Number 2, release all judgments about yourself and others. And be okay with who you are in the moment, knowing that the next moment can and often is something much more profound. But if you cling into what is, you cannot experience the next big moment that awaits you. Number 3, have no doubt in your abilities for creation. Have no doubt in your abilities, for creation is part of your life. In fact, your life is very much your own creation. Now that's gonna trigger some alarms. What do you mean? I didn't create this. No, consciously you didn't. Unconsciously, probably yes. Okay. Number 4, you create based on what you believe is true or real to you. And as long as you focus all your attention on what is your real, you cannot have or create a different or bigger experience for yourself. That's why it's so important for each and every one of us to know what is our real? What is our truth? What is our truth? What do we deeply believe in? And I'm not talking about the conscious thing that we say, oh, I believe this and that, but when you look at your experience, it's completely different. No, it's the inherited, deeply ingrained belief systems that run in the back of our minds. Okay? Number 5, know that your truth can be changed. How? By realizing your deeply held beliefs about it. In other words, in order for us to change what we believe is true for us, we have to first realize or understand our deeply held beliefs about it. Okay? For example, and I'm just going to throw a simple example. If I believe I cannot have a lot of money, we have to look at our beliefs about that. What beliefs do you have about money that tell you you can't have a lot of money? Okay, that's just an example. Number 6, knowing your truth is imperative to understanding how you work. Without that, you cannot co-create your new experience. It's because we create mostly unconsciously. And if we create unconsciously, we create via patterns. Patterns is something that keeps on repeating. So we cannot have a new experience by following the old patterns. That's never going to work. It's like having a pattern of a dress and expecting that the outcome is going to be different than the pattern. Well, as long as you're following the pattern, the dress is going to be exactly the replica of the pattern. What else do you expect? Patterns are also deeply connected to our belief systems. Number 7, trust in your abilities as a powerful creator. Knowing this will set you free. Okay? Trust in your abilities as a powerful creator. Knowing this will set you free. We're being asked to recognize ourselves as powerful creators, co-creators. Without that, we have no hope in hell. Without believing that we are co-creators, what we are saying is life happens to us, which means something or someone else is in control of our lives. Number 8, begin this process by seeing yourself anew. Being okay with what is like saying, I am this now, but I could also be more, and see what happens. What this is saying is this, essentially, that it's important for all of us to accept ourselves as we are in this moment and who we are in this moment. If we feel a certain way, there's no point in pretending that that's not what is, because that just creates resistance. So it's necessary for us to accept what is, with the understanding that there can always be more. Because there's always more, there's always infinitely more. And this begins this process of us opening up to a new experience. Without being open to having a new experience, we will not be able to have a new experience. The door is closed. In other words, in order for us to have a new experience, we have to first be open to having a new experience. Okay? Number 9, never underestimate your own worth or value. Realize that how you feel about yourself is your responsibility. And I thought that was a very punchy statement, because we often rely on others to tell us what our value is. In fact, we grew up letting others tell us what our value is. Okay, it's just part of the condition. However, we now have a choice in the matter. So never underestimate your own worth of value. Realize that how you feel about yourself is your responsibility. So if you don't like how you feel about yourself, it is your responsibility to decide or choose how you would prefer to feel about yourself, and then make that happen, create that happen. There's a process with that, but you have to first decide. Without that, nothing will happen. Okay? Don't let others dictate your own value. You either see your value or you don't. There is nothing in between. Don't let others dictate your own value. You either see your value or you don't. There is nothing in between. Choose to see your own value. Choose to see your own worth. If you don't see your value and you don't see your worth, then you need someone to help you see it. Okay? Because there is inherently value and worth to you just because you are. Not what you do, not what you look like, not what you drive, not who you're dating. No. Just because you are. If you don't believe in that, you're going to rely on the outside to tell you what your value is. Never, ever a good idea. Number 11. Awareness is the key to your level of vibration. The more deeply you know yourself, the more you realize your own worth and your own potential. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, it's all about awareness. The deeper you know yourself, the more you realize your own worth and your own potential. What does it mean to know yourself deeply? To really know yourself is to realize that you are none of the things you tell yourself ever. Or none of the things that others tell you, for that matter. You are more than that. Number 12. Becoming free means letting go of all attachments. Anything you hold on to keeps you exactly where you are right now. So if you don't like where you are right now, there's something you need to let go of. Perhaps you need to let go of how you see yourself. Perhaps where you are right now is the result of how you see yourself in the world. If you don't want to be in this situation, something inside you must change so that you can create a new situation. And number 13, forgive yourself for seeing yourself as small or insignificant. Yet know that the only thing that is small or insignificant is your own understanding of yourself. Let go of this understanding and see what happens. So that's what I have for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. I would love to see your comments. I am desiring to reach as many people as I can to channel this message, because at the end of the day, I believe my little small part in this world is to help people realize and recognize their own greatness. And when I see it happening, when I work with my clients and I see the light bulbs going on, it's a very satisfying experience for me as Joanna. It's just, I guess it lets me know that I'm doing my job, I also have something very exciting coming up in the next little while. Something I haven't done for over 3 years. For some of you may know that I have a private group coaching platform where I have been meeting with members for almost 3.5 years now, and the entire purpose of this platform is to connect with me on a regular basis so that I can help you find your own greatness through various processes and channelings and things like that. So if you are interested in stepping up to a next level of your own evolution with someone who can offer you knowledge, information, but most importantly, how to put it into practice so that you can create yourself anew, then click on the link below, and that's going to take you to a place where you can put yourself on a wait list, so that when I finally announce this surprise, you will be the first one to be notified. Thank you so much all for being here. I look forward to your comments and your questions, maybe even. And have yourself a powerful, wonderful, and exciting week. And I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye-bye.